Bertoldo, and I am the CEO and founder at crazyforeducation.com. This video is to show Mac users how to record their screen and have their face in the screen in a sense of recording of yourself during just about anything you can do. A couple things to think about when you're starting is make sure your phone is turned off, not even buzzing, because you'll hear that on the microphone if it's on a table near you. Right now I've got a QuickTime player already loaded up, and you can't see this because I've already started up, but I'm going to show you here. In QuickTime, you'd go to File and New Screen Recording. When you go to New Screen Recording, you need to basically turn on a couple functions. You want to use the internal microphone, unless you plan to use something else, and you want to be able to record everything that's going on the screen. Typically, you can either set yourself up so you can record the entire screen, which is probably the easiest thing to do, so everything you see is what you get, and that works out pretty well. Right now I'm recording and talking to you at the same time. It's pretty straightforward. With the application that I'm using to record the actual video from the camera, I'm using a package called DwyaneCam. It's an app that you can download from the App Store. So you can go to the App Store and look for it. It's free, and it really has some very simple functions, but it's just a really great product. I'm using on my built-in eyesight, and you'll notice up here I am unlocked, which means that I can move this screen anywhere I want. I can also resize it anywhere I want. So take a look at that and say, hey, now I can size myself to an appropriate size for maybe the presentation I plan to do. So I'm going to talk about something on the internet. I may want to put myself way down the lower right hand corner. If I'm going to talk about a PowerPoint, I may put it up on the upper corner. It all depends on what you want to do. If you're going to be working on a document or something like a PowerPoint file, have them queued up before you start recording. It makes it a lot easier. So we're going to take a look at one of my PowerPoints, and you'll notice here, I've got myself behind the screen. Now, how did that happen? The reason it happened is I didn't lock down the DwyaneCam. So if you click here and this is always on top, I will be always on top no matter what I'm doing. It's kind of a really nice feature in the product. So I've got a bunch of slides here about some math, and I'm going to come along and say, I want to test some of this and make sure all the positioning is right. So I'll click on this and I'll go to play, and you'll notice that it doesn't really work for me. Some of my text is really too close to where I'm at, so I'm just going to simply go back to my PowerPoint and make a few adjustments. Either move it a little bit to the left and maybe move this a little bit to the right, wherever it makes sense for me. And so you can do this all simultaneously, but it's nice to practice this before you actually do your slides. Typically, an average lecture in the middle and high school or a discussion is about 5 to 10 minutes, 8 minutes on the average. So it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to go back to my top of my slides like I would if I was going to start a presentation, and I'm going to move this over a little bit. It looks a little bit too far to the right as well. So there you go, and I'm going to play it. You'll notice that the slides start like it normally would start. I do my right clicks or left clicks on my mouse, and I can simply move through the slide deck. And just anything that I was doing with the slides works exactly like it does, but I'm still recording on top of it at the same time. It's kind of cool. So you can see me, say hi kids, how you doing today? And I can do this presentation. One of the things you might want to take advantage of is the pen function. So it's either a Command P on the screen or just go down and click on it. And on this particular slide I say, I want to emphasize temperature change. So I may just kind of underline it so the kids see something active while I am actually talking about it. And when I move to the next slide, I can simply do a Command P again on the screen. They don't have to see my mouse movement necessarily. And we can talk about integers to record money with draws. Well, let's talk about that integer function right here, and you can kind of see how that works. So pretty simple. Got your PowerPoint, but the question becomes, well, how do you handle this if you're going to do a review for a paper or something like that? So let's take a look at that. I've got a document queued up here, and basically this is a document one of my lyrics from my son's music recordings, and we'll take a look at here. You want to make sure that the text is big enough so whoever you're talking about or doing something with can see what you're doing as well. And so now you're kind of moving it up and down, and you can actually be talking about just like you would in a standard presentation or a discussion. You say, you know what, you may say, hey Andre, this particular sentence doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, and I'm going to colorize it or I'm going to underline it in some way, so that we can kind of talk about it. So you can actually do a complete paper review this way and just simply keep on going down the paper as you're talking about it, and they see you at the same time. So you can give criticism, compliments. It could be new things that you want them to focus on. It makes it pretty simple. Once you're done with the screen recording, you can actually end up your presentation with, you don't have to be just in the corner. You can make yourself a little bigger and say, hey, now this is what I want you to do for the next assignment or project. And once you, again, stop your screen recording, the entire system will make a .movie file. In our next presentation here, we're going to show you how to use iMovie to make a few edits on this. Let's say you had two different projects that you wanted to put together, maybe 2-3 minute videos. That'd be great, and you can kind of slice them together. Or you've made a video that just turned out to be 20 minutes, is way too long, and you need to cut it in half and make 2 other files with it. So we can show you how to do that as well. So my name is Renato Cataldo, CEO of crazyforeducation.com, and thank you for listening. QuickTime allows you to save their file. As you see in this center piece, I've got a file that I made just a second ago, something I recorded to show you how to use QuickTime and DwyaneCam, but now I want to save that file. So when I try to exit it, that file, the system's going to say, hey, what do you want to do with it? And it's going to say, hey, do you want to have a .movie file? That's great, and you're going to want to name it. So in this particular case, that was a QuickTime and DwyaneCam movie, so I'm going to name it QT and DC2 because that was my second try. And I can save it as a regular movie, or so there's different versions here. You can have 480p, 720p, 1080p. If you're going to be playing this or using this for crazyforeducation.com, my recommendation is to do a 720p movie, and that makes it compatible with Mac and PC. Makes it easy to work with. So it's still a .movie file, but makes the file format very workable. So it's going to export that movie from QuickTime Player in that format, and you can see, depending upon what you're doing, it may take a few extra minutes. It said 50 more minutes, now you see it's down to 24, and it'll zip through it pretty quick as it exports. It was about a 6-minute video, so it may actually take, but when it's done, really about 4 or 5 minutes to do it. And we're not going to wait for that entire movie to happen. But that's really the process. All right. Thank you very much.